Share on Facebook. Geraldo went on television Friday and dropped the hammer on Democrats. The fact that Democrats were trying to use DACA to negotiate on the budget was enough to throw Geraldo over the edge. Here's what he had to say about their political future. From the Daily Caller, Rivera said the Democratic Party has become fractured like the GOP field of 2016 and thinks President Donald Trump's popularity will continue to rise, leading to a successful outcome in November's midterms for the GOP. The way you looked at the Republicans debating Donald Trump last year, that's what the Democrats look like now. They look like they're 16 difficult parties. Far left, moderate, someplace in the middle. I just think that there is no Democratic Party right now, Rivera said. They've got to get their act together. Everyone's talking about the big wave that's going to sweep the Republicans out of the House in the midterms. I definitely do not see it, he concluded. I see President Trump's popularity ticking up. I think the tax cuts will have an effect. And I think the market will come to its senses. Geraldo nailed it. The liberal media is trying really hard to convince us that Democrats have the momentum and are poised to have a strong showing this fall in the midterms. Historically, that makes sense. However, nothing about President Trump has been normal or jived with what conventional wisdom dictated. One big problem Democrats are facing is they don't have any money. From the Daily Wire, the Democratic National Committee tried to get his news under the radar, releasing it during President Trump's State of the Union speech, but here it is, the Democratic National Committee is nearly broke. Look at the figures, the Republican National Committee raised twice as much money in 2017, the RNC had no debt while the DNC was $6.1 million in debt with only $6.3 million in cash on hand. As Ed Morrissey of Hot Air points out, this report indicates a huge problem, because if the DNC is failing, the Democrats need to get out the vote campaign, but if they leave that to the individual campaigns, that could be troublesome because they don't have the resources of the DNC, which can implement its own data crunching. Does that strike you as a party that has momentum? Not only that, the polls are trending in the GOP's favor. From Fox News, an average of credible public polls at the beginning of January showed Democrats 14.4 points ahead on the generic ballot, a reliable reflection of the electorate's general preference for Republican or Democratic control of the House. With an advantage like that on Election Day, Democrats could easily get double the 24 seats they need to retake the House majority. Even more dangerous for Republicans, a Senate takeover was also starting to hove into view, thanks, in part to Roy Moore. It was no surprise that retirements were coming quicker than popcorn in a hot pan. But how about now? Today, the Democratic advantage in the generic ballot is almost half of what it was a month ago, down to 7.6 points. Over the same period, Trump improved his marks by about 5 points, and is back over the 40% job approval threshold for the first time in a long time. That's certainly still a tough climate for Republicans, but hardly a guarantee of congressional turnover. It is really starting to look like Geraldo is right. The Democrats are a mess while the Republicans have their act together. Share on Facebook.